even on their sick bed, sometimes it's too late. You live all your life for 50-something years, or 60 and 70-something years, in knowing God, hearing the word and refusing to yield yourself to it. And the time you get on your sick bed, you're going to say, Lord, have mercy on me, and you're going to heaven. No, I don't believe that. No. There's exceptional cases, but it's exceptional. That would happen only when the man was close to Jesus. All right, Elder Rosson.
Page 3. Twice in this paragraph, Peter reminded Christian wives that they were to be submissive to their husbands. 1 Peter 3, 1 and 5.
Do you think most wives, when they're saved and now Christian, they're submissive to their husbands? Huh?
Some are, some not. Some not. That's because of the upbringing. Okay, Bishop. What I mean about the upbringing, for example, if their parents was one where the wife, the mother wasn't submissive to the husband, all that trickles down, and they figure that's the way it's supposed to go. Until you really get into Christ and find out that that's not how it is. But it starts off that way, because, well, that's the way my mother was with my father. So maybe that's the right way it's supposed to go. And then you may marry a man that's very passive, gentle, kind-hearted, and they just take them there, and vice versa. But like I said, some women are submissive, some are not.
Well, a wife should be submissive to their husband. And when they can't, things go wrong, then the wife can go to God on that husband. Not take things in her own hand and try to do it her own way.
Or take it to our family members.
No, that's the wrong way. That's the wrong way. Because family always gonna stand up for family. I wouldn't put up with it. I wouldn't do that. Don't let him do this. You let him do that. He tell you this. You do that. No.
If you say, you go down. Because a lot of times when you try to, help out or whatever the case may be, they turn against you.
Yeah.
So we need love, but it's doing damage.
They gotta pray.
What worked for you 30 years ago may not work now.
Right. When God put man and woman together, he did it. He said you needed to help me. He said Adam was lonesome there without and help me.
That's right. He said you need a helpmate, not helpmates.
Right.
Helpmates.
Look Joseph and Mary. When Joseph, he was in love with Mary,
Yes,
right?
he was.
And then by being in love with her, then God had to speak to him also.
Yes, he did.
See, this is what, when you rely on God to work things out for you,
Right.
God will do it.
Do it.
Not you yourself.
Now, if he had walked away,
Yeah.
look what a shame and all this stuff
Yeah.
would have been.
Yeah.
And he would have been lost himself.
Yeah.
But he allowed God to speak to him, and he did exactly
Yeah,
what the
he
angel
did.
told him to do. You gotta hear somebody. And if you don't hear God, who you gonna hear? The devil will certainly speak to you.
Yeah.
And he'll get you in a position, buddy, and nobody can help you. And you'll get in a position wherein God turn his back on you. And when God turn his back on you, the devil really got you.
Yeah.
And you're doomed then. All right.
The word translated subjection is a military term that means to place under rank. God has a place for everything. He has ordained various levels of authority. See 1 Peter 2:13 and 14. He has ordained that the husband be the head of the home. Ephesians 5 and 21. And that as he submits to Christ, his wife should submit to him. Headship is not dictatorship, but the loving exercise of divine authority under the lordship of Jesus Christ.
I don't see if a saved wife shouldn't want to be the head of her husband. She shouldn't want to be. Until she get into a little problem. Then, you want to go to the door? Somebody at the door. Then they want to send you to do something. Yeah, they do it. Yeah, they do it. Same thing there. No, you do that. No. Huh?
I have to peek through my curtains from now on. Go to the door.
I like this part. Headship is not dictatorship, but the loving exercise of divine authority under the lordship of Jesus Christ.
Right.
I like that. It'll work.
Yes, it'll work.
Follow that.
Mhm.
But a lot of husbands say, what did I tell you to do? I
Well,
said you ain't gonna do this, and I said you ain't gonna do that.
You know, I've seen Christian women really bend over backwards
Yeah, that too.
for their husband. Now the husband really wasn't saved, but they bent over backwards because of who they were. They bent over backwards. And even doing that, the husband still didn't have no respect for him. It went in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out.
It really took advantage.
But it's just the patience of the wife and the love that the wife had for God. Not for the husband, but for God. All right,
Peter gave 3 reasons why a Christian wife should submit to her husband, even if the husband has, in this case, is not saved. The first one is submission. Submission is an obligation. God has commanded it because, in his wisdom, he knows that this is the best arrangement for a happy, fulfilling marriage. Subjection does not mean that the wife is inferior to the husband. In fact, in 1 Peter 3 and 7, Peter made it clear that the husband and wife are heirs together. The man and the woman are made by the same creator out of some basic material, and both are made in God's image. God gave dominion to both Adam and Eve, Genesis 1 and 28. Excuse me. And in Jesus Christ, Christian mates are one. Galatians 3:28.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
No. Go ahead.
Submission has to do with order and authority, not evaluation. For example, the slaves in the average Roman household were superior in many ways to their masters, but they still had to be under authority. The buck private in the army may be a better person than the 5-star general, but he is still a buck private. Even Christ himself became a servant and submitted to God's will. There is nothing degrading about submitting to authority or accepting God's order. If anything, it is the first step towards fulfillment. And Ephesians 5:21 makes it clear that both husband and wife must first be submitted to Jesus Christ.
And if both of them are submitted to Jesus Christ, there is not going to be a whole lot of stuff going on. It's not. Because you see, we'll give in. If the husband come to you and say, this was wrong, well, I'm sorry. If the wife, it's vice versa. But now if you're one gonna be kind of stubborn, nah, it wasn't me, that was you. Then you got a problem. But if you really love the Lord and submit yourself to the Lord, there's gonna be harmony in that home.
And it should be. It's not all one-sided.
No,
It's not,
No.
I'm always out of order all the time.
no,
They both have to submit
sure.
in order for it to work.
And if you're saved, you're gonna submit. You can't say you're saved and you can't get along with your husband or your children. Something is wrong. We as husband or as wife, we learn to pray. We learn to give it to God. We learn to fast. We learn to turn down our plate and allow God to work things out for. Many times you got to keep your mouth shut and just give it to God and see God work it out. You can't, and you ain't got to say nothing to the husband. You ain't got to say nothing to the children. Just go ahead and give it to God and keep fasting about it. And God work it out. Because he knows how to do it. We don't know how to do it. But that's when we learn how to submit ourselves to God. And you say to yourself, I don't want to be lost. I want to do it God's way. I want to make sure that when my time is up on earth, I'll be able to go back with the Lord when he comes. And the only way you're going to be able to go back with the God, you got to be submissive to his will. And when you submit to God's will, you're going to do what is right on every side. I don't care if mother-in-law or uncle-in-law, whoever come in and say this and that, you're going to, no. The Lord going to fix it. The Lord will work it out. Oh, but you let him do this. No. Just mind your own business. I know what I'm doing. God will work it out for me. Yeah, I realize that there are people that raised up in families that never had, as you said, Evangelist, that never had a mother figure to really just counsel them and tell them how to act with a husband or wife. They never had that. They see the daddy come in, slap mama around, tell her what she ought to do, and do what he want to do, and go about his business, and I ask her, get my food on the table, and all like that, and she go and fix it up, and all like that. And he puts the plate back and go and do whatever he want to do. But the wife puts up with all of that because she loves the Lord. See, we have to go through some things. We have to put up with some things. right,
Husbands and wives must be partners, not competitors. After a wedding ceremony, excuse me, I often privately say to the bride and groom, now remember, from now on, it's no longer mine or yours, but ours.
right,
This,
that's right.
this explains why Christians must always marry other Christians.
Uh-huh,
For a believer cannot enter into any kind of deep oneness with an unbeliever. 2 Corinthians 6:14-18.
now, what did you say that?
It said, this explains why Christians must always marry other Christians. For a believer cannot enter into any kind of deep oneness with an unbeliever. 2 Corinthians 6:14-18.
God didn't mean for him to do it. He know there's gonna be problems.
Yeah.
And you know, I've noticed some men are not that bad, but they're still unsaved.
Still unsaved.
They wouldn't get saved, and their wife is saved. And like the lady used to have her husband bring her to church, set up out there in the car, wouldn't come inside, would set up out there in the car. And she'd come inside, and he'll wait till she leave out, he'll take her back home. Never come inside. Like, all right, you got to die. That's your God, you got to serve. I don't have to serve it. So he did. And that's a sad case. If my wife go to heaven, she's going on her own. I'm going on my own too. I'm gonna make sure I get there. Yes, sir. I ain't gonna do no more for her than I do for myself, and I'm not gonna hurt her, and I don't expect for her to hurt me. When you love God, you love people.
Yeah.
You do for people. He said, by this should all men know that you are my disciple. When you have love, not only for your wife, not only for your family, for everybody. Anything else in there you want to talk about? I mean, nobody want to talk on this?
But there's one thing that says, when it's in the thing that says that, what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours, you know, and it's supposed to be where everything's supposed to be one, you know, sometimes it's not like that.
Well, if they're saved,
if they're saved, it's supposed to be like that, but it's not like that sometimes. Okay, for example, I would go to the store and I'll buy stuff for the house. And I'll come in, put the stuff on the table, and say, hey, this is for everybody. Then go to the store, buy stuff, write their name on it.
What?
Put stuff, do not touch.
Don't touch.
I'll bring pictures, I'm serious. You know, so I just, you know what, cause I tell them, listen, see, me and you are different. Alright, I said, I buy stuff, it's for the whole, the cornflakes, for example, the cornflakes and the Raisin Bran I get from the pantry. I come, put the cereal down, alright, I tell my daughter, I said, I got cornflakes, I got Raisin Bran. I come back, the cornflake box is gone. The Raisin Bran is gone. It doesn't come back to where it was put at, but nobody brings nothing back in. So I get more cornflakes. And it still goes in. You know? So I'm like you said, I don't care what you do. The Bible told me to love my wife. That's Christ loved the church. Whatever I do out of love. But I'm saying, but that thing when it comes to where it says, what's mine It's mine, it's yours, it's yours. We're supposed to be together. Doesn't work like that all the time.
My neighbor was talking to me, he said, his wife go to the store, she come back, put her name on everything, don't touch this.
That's it.
She got her side, I guess, in the refrigerator, she put hers, and if she cook anything, it's for her. I mean, how can you live in a house that,
Bishop, I'm gonna tell you
Huh?
something.
It has to be miserable living
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
miserable, gotta be miserable.
I don't think it can't be that miserable if they still, I mean, these are not babies, these people are 70 years old and older.
I know, but
And they writing their name on this, I bought this and this is mine.
they got to hurt the other
Like you
person.
said, they done decide to make it comfortable, they too old.
It's
for it.
separate.
I asked, okay, now, I understand certain things, because when my kids was in the house, okay, they used to ravish everything. They used to go through everything as they was growing up. So with me, I didn't care, cause that's what I was going for the house to eat. But certain things I have to want for herself. So in order to keep them to eat her stuff, she got my name on it. And say, listen, I got this in the refrigerator, don't touch this. So, my kids are grown. I got one living, my son lives in Pittsburgh. Okay, with his son. Okay, I got my daughter in the house. And she still writes the name on the thing